years ago, he had to fill out his residency visa. Now, you often have to fill them out even when you're visiting. Now, one of the questions is, do you take drugs? Have you taken drugs? Have you ever taken drugs? Most people just say no, but Harry is in an interesting situation because he wrote in his book, Spare, about his love of cannabis, cocaine, and magic mushrooms. So he's taken all of those. So his answer to the visa question should have been, yes, I have taken drugs. If it was, yes, I have taken drugs, why was he allowed to stay in America? Why was he allowed to live there? Because I wouldn't be allowed to. Normal people wouldn't be allowed to. Was the land of the equal and the free guilty of kowtowing, forelock touching to a British aristocrat? Because it shouldn't have been. And if he didn't put that down, if he did what most people did, told a white lie or a lie, said, no, I've never taken drugs, then that's a federal offence for which many believe he should be kicked out of America. In fact, Donald Trump, the president, has considered as much. Now, the Heritage Foundation, an excellent think tank in Washington, has been pursuing that case for some time now, and it's going back to court in a whole new atmosphere. That whole new atmosphere is Donald Trump's presidency. The Democrat president, for some reason, the party of the people, Joe Biden, basically said, oh, no, be me ever so humble, sir. You can live here as long as you like, Well, Donald Trump says no. He says he's not going to. Donald Trump says, I'm not going to protect him. If he's lied on that form, or if he somehow or other was allowed to stay when he shouldn't have been, he said, I won't protect him. Donald Trump does not forgive Prince Harry for the way him and Meghan treated the late great Queen. Well, let's go across to Washington and talk to the man who's been spearheading this long-running legal battle. He's the director of the Heritage Foundation, Niall Gardner. Welcome to the show, Niall.
My pleasure. It's great to be here. Thanks very much, Kevin.
Well, first of all, I've got a few clips of Donald Trump and his attitude to Harry and Meghan, which will play in the course of time. But first of all, explain. You're going back to court. Explain the difference, or why you feel that going back to court now under President Trump will make a world of difference. Because frankly, under the forelock-touching presidency of Joe Biden, you got every door slammed in your face. Do you think now that you may finally get the court to open up his visa application so the public can see it? Transparency in the American tradition. You think it may happen now?
Well, we believe in transparency and accountability, Kevin, and it's our view at the Heritage Foundation that Prince Harry's immigration records should be released to the American people. And we have urged President Trump to release Harry's records. The president has the executive authority to do so. As you've pointed out, of course, President Trump has commented on the Prince Harry immigration case previously. And we believe that there is a firm U.S. national interest in the release of his records. So we will be continuing to urge that directly to the president, but also through the courts as well. There is another federal court hearing taking place this Wednesday in the Washington D.C. federal court, and we will continue to make the case that Harry's records should be released for everyone to see. And we believe that if Harry lied on his immigration application, that's a criminal offence, and he should face deportation if he lied on his application. So let's see exactly what Harry had to say on his application. In his book Spare, his own memoir, he talked about extensive illegal drug use. Harry should be held to account, just like anyone else.
Yes, indeed. And, of course, if he owned up in his visa application, I'm a big fan of cannabis, cocaine and magic mushrooms, which is what he wrote in his book, Spare. then that would open up a can of worms as well, wouldn't it? Because, you know, if I put, yeah, a big fan of smoking dope and snorting coke, they wouldn't let me into the country. So that if he was honest, on his visa application, the question then would be, why was he allowed to take up residence over there?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kevin, and there's a strong possibility as well that Harry may have received preferential treatment with regard to his application. And all we're saying is that these records should be released and made public, so the American people can judge for themselves exactly what's in those records. But as President Trump has made clear previously, if Harry lied on his application, appropriate action would be taken, in Trump's own words. And President Trump has promised to strictly enforce U.S. immigration law. And so it doesn't matter if you're a prince. You should be held to the same standards as anyone else applying to live and reside in the United States. And so I think Harry has made it very clear in his own memoir that he has used a wide array of illegal drugs, and he should be held fully to account just like anybody else. And there's a firm public interest in his records being made open to the American public. So all we're calling for here is transparency, accountability, and for the rule of law to be applied equally to anyone who seeks to enter the United States or live in the United States.
Well, yes, I mean, and if he lied on his visa application to reside in America, in effect, he becomes an illegal migrant. And we know what Donald Trump thinks about illegal migrants, don't we? So deportation might be on the cards. But let's remind ourselves of President Trump's attitude to Harry and Meghan. This is him talking about the two of them potentially being kicked out. Have a listen to this.
And we'll have to see if they know something about the drugs, and if he lied, he'll have to take appropriate action.
Which might mean not staying.
Oh, and Harry is whipped. Do you know the expression
I'm
whipped?
familiar with the
I won't use the full expression. But Harry is whipped like no person I think I've ever seen. I'm not a fan of Meghan.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. And I wasn't right from the beginning.
Same
I think
to you.
poor Harry is being led around by his nose, okay?
You think he's going to end?
I do. I've been a very good predictor, as you know. I've predicted almost everything. It'll end, and it'll end bad. And I wonder if Harry's going to go back on his hands and knees and say, please. I'm not a fan of hers. And I would say this, and she probably has heard that, but I wish a lot of luck to Harry, because he's going to need it.
Well, I think, Niall, we'll get an idea of what the president thinks about Harry and Meghan, because, of course, you know, politically, they're everything he despises. You know, they are woke West Coasters. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose, but not likely to endear you to President Trump. Was it, Niall, the publication of Spare, Harry's extraordinary tell-all autobiography, that caused you to do this when you saw him boasting about drug taking, you know, and I guess making money out of that boast? Did you think, well, hang on a second, there's something not quite right? Was it the book that inspired you to do this?
Yes, actually, it was Prince Harry's own revelations in his memoir that really prompted us to seek the release of Harry's immigration records. And initially, of course, the Department of Homeland Security under the Biden administration refused to do so, and then we took them to federal court, and we took them to court twice, actually, and there's the third hearing, of course, this week. You know, the fact is that, you know, Prince Harry has done a great deal, of course, to, I think, undermine the royal family. He is also, I think, if he lied on his application, he will have made a mockery of the U.S. immigration system. And the Heritage Foundation, of course, is the leading supporter in the United States of a strong and robust U.S. immigration system that ensures that America's borders are safe and secure. We're also the home of the Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom. which advances the US-UK special relationship. And if Harry has lied on his application about all of his drug use, he will be, I think, damaging the US-UK special relationship. He's already undermined the royal family. Both he and Meghan have made relentless attacks upon the reputation of the royal family. We believe that the American people have a right to know whether Harry was truthful or not, because lying on an immigration application is a federal offence. That's a criminal offence, and anyone involved in doing so would be subject to deportation. And the American people, I'm sure, would demand the deportation of Prince Harry if he lied on his application. So the stakes are very high here. The Biden administration fought tooth and nail against the release of the records. You have to ask, why did they do that? Actually, they went to great lengths to hide the contents of Harry's immigration records, and we're simply asking for transparency here, and for the American people to have the right to see what Harry himself put on his own record. And let's see what Harry had to say.
Well, you've lived in America for a while. I lived over on the West Coast for the best part of a decade. And what struck me about Biden's attitude, or his approach to the Harry visa issue, was it was un-American. You know, the whole point about America is every man is equal, and of course woman. And the idea that some British aristocrat should get special treatment, it's just not the American way. And what did you make of Biden? I mean, he went to great lengths to try and block your legal efforts, didn't he? Why do you think that was, and what did you make of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I do think the Biden presidency was an absolute disaster for the United States, and their handling of the Prince Harry case is an illustration of that. And let's not forget that 12 million people crossed the US border illegally under Joe Biden, so that their track record on border enforcement is absolutely terrible. And the fact that they fought so hard against the release of Prince Harry's records suggests that there is something to hide with regard to his application. And with the new US administration in place, we sincerely hope that the Trump administration is going to release Harry's records. And as you mentioned, Kevin, the American people do not like to see preferential treatment being given to somebody, in this case, a prince, with regard to his immigration application. The Americans are very much against that kind of preferential treatment. Everyone should be treated in the same way. And the vast majority of the American people want to see U.S. immigration law strictly enforced as well. And so Harry, who has in many ways behaved like a political activist alongside Meghan Markle here in the United States, Harry should be fully held to account, actually, for what he put on his immigration application. And that's the right thing to do. The rule of law matters and should be applied equally and without favor.
Before you go, Niall, here's another little clip that may make things a little difficult for Harry going forward. This is Meghan's take on Donald Trump. Take it away, Meghan.
Yes, of course Trump is divisive. Think about just female voters alone, right? I mean, like, I think it was in 2012, like, the Republican Party lost the female vote by 12 points. That's a huge number. And with as misogynistic as Trump is and so vocal about it, that's a huge chunk of it. You're not just voting for a woman if it's Hillary just because she's a woman.
Yeah, that's Meghan's take. I mean, as a backdrop to your legal campaign, Niall, the political attitudes of West Coast Meghan and now West Coast Harry may present them with problems because they stand for everything that Donald Trump doesn't. And I've noticed that since his re-emergence, as it were, that they've been a little less critical loudly in public of him. But in the past, they couldn't wait to slap him down. And, Donald, he's a pragmatist, but he won't forget that, will he?
No, I don't think he will. And the reality is that, Meghan Markle in particular has made a number of very nasty comments about Donald Trump in the past. She has been, as you pointed out, rather quiet recently. But for many years, she and Harry have been woke left-wing political activists and they have been noticeably quieter in recent months, and they've been a lot more careful. But Meghan's track record is there for all to see, and frankly, Prince Harry has gone along, I think, with a lot of Meghan's nasty comments, and her attacks on President Trump are absolutely awful, and they're all there on record. And at the end of the day, Meghan and Harry, they do see themselves as sort of political activists as well, and they represent sort of out of touch, super elite, woke liberal America. And there's a new sheriff in town with President Trump, actually, who really speaks for the American people.
Well, as the recent election proved, no one is listening to Meghan and Harry and their ilk. Last question, Niall. When are you in court? When does the actual next hearing happen?
So the next hearing takes place on Wednesday here in Washington, D.C. at 2 p.m. US time. That's 7 p.m. UK time. But at the same time, we are urging President Trump to release the records himself. And I think there's a very, very strong possibility that he will do so. He's taken a very close interest in this case. My view is that there's a very strong likelihood that President Trump will intervene himself.
Extraordinary. So Wednesday, come back to us after that, Niall. We're all ears. Really good to talk to you. Excellent. Thank you. That is Niall Gardner, the director of the Heritage Foundation. He is the man who's spearheading this long campaign to get a look at Harry's visa application to reside in America. Well, you heard what the story is. This is serious. Trump may be about to kick him out. That is if he's lied. You never know. But either way, he's going to be in trouble. He either lied on his visa application and said he's never taken drugs, which is a federal offence. That's very serious. Or he said, yeah, I'm big on coke and I love a joint and I really enjoy magic mushrooms. If you put that on his form, why is he allowed to